Welcome to World Unit Inc.'s 5-Minute Leadership Dialogue. Take a listen. See how you might answer the questions. You might discover you have the mind and heart of a leader. Hi, Celeste. So glad to have you with us. The pandemic impacted all of us in different ways. What lesson did you take away from it?
Well, I have never been so crystal focused on keeping myself healthy, keeping my family healthy, and also thinking about my team that I lead at Merck and making sure that I was doing whatever I could to make sure that they were staying healthy as well. And then also making sure that we were all staying connected. When we first were shuttered at home, I wanted to make sure that I was had that virtual open door policy, if you will, and making sure that we could all stay connected because that's so very, very important when we were secluded like we were. That connection is really, really important.
Celeste, technology impacts our lives every single day. It's been linked to creating social divisions. How do you use technology to strengthen that human connection with your fellow human beings?
It's very interesting, Sarah, when the pandemic first started and we all became virtual, there was a question about whether we were going to be able to drive diversity, equity, and inclusion through our organization, and how were we going to do that? And especially when inclusion and connectivity is so very, very important to our mission. And so, what I explained to folks was before the pandemic, we were a global organization. After the pandemic, we're still a global organization. And so we have to make sure that we're connecting with all of our 65,000 employees in the over 100 countries where they exist and live. And so we have really become laser focused around how we're able to make sure that we're meeting people where they are and helping them to understand and build their capabilities around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that means leveraging every stream, every communications modem, every way that we can in order to reach our employees. We were doing it before, but we just optimized it afterwards.
Celeste, all human beings have what's called unconscious biases, and we never know when it's going to come out. What do you do to overcome yours?
I have to make sure that I have done a self assessment around my personal biases. As a woman who grew up in the 70s and 80s, as a Black woman who grew up in a small steel mill town in Western Pennsylvania, it comes with its own aspects of different biases based on when we grew up, where we grew up, what our environment was, what our culture is, what our experiences were. And so I make sure that I'm doing a self assessment and I understand and try to get in touch with as many of my biases that exist because we all have them and get in touch with them, understand them. And then once I understand them, I make sure that I'm not tapping into them when it comes to making decisions about employees in the workplace. And I think that's the important thing that we all have to be doing.
Great. Well, we wish you continued success, Celeste, in all your diversity and inclusion initiatives. And we were so honored to have you with us.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Sarah. It's so glad to be here.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to a leader. Hope you'll join us next month and help us create a world that values the common humanity we all share.